It began as a whisper, a faint rhythmic pulse from the deep, silent darkness of space. On a quiet evening in early 2024, radio telescopes around the world picked it up. From the vast plains of Atacama to the green hills of West Virginia, they picked up something that shouldn't have been there. It was a signal unlike any we'd seen. Not chaotic quasar static, not the steady hum of a pulsar. This was different, structured, repeating in a complex, deliberate pattern. Too weak to be a greeting broadcast, too organized to be random cosmic noise. A puzzle, a ghost in the machine. And everyone noticed. Scientists scrambled to pinpoint the origin. A new stellar phenomenon? An error in our equipment? A ghost signal from our own technology? Initial data pointed to a mostly empty patch of sky. More observatories locked on, a consensus formed, the source was moving, fast, on a trajectory through our solar system. Not from millions of light years away. From our cosmic backyard, headed our way. So, what exactly was this cosmic messenger? Comet 3I/Atlas was what we call an interstellar object. The I in its name stands for interstellar, meaning it wasn't from our solar system. It was a tourist, a traveler from a distant, unknown star system that had journeyed for perhaps millions of years through the cold, empty space between stars. When it was first spotted, it was just a faint smudge of light, one of many such discoveries made each year. We cataloged it, calculated its trajectory, and initially thought it would be a moderately interesting object for astronomers to observe as it passed through our neighborhood. It was a chunk of ice dust rock, a frozen relic from the birth of another star. The importance of interstellar objects like 3I/Atlas cannot be overstated. They are like time capsules from other solar systems. By studying their composition, we can learn about the chemical makeup of the planetary systems where they formed. They offer us a direct sample of the building blocks of planets orbiting other stars, something we could otherwise only guess at from thousands of light years away. This comet was special from the start, being only the third confirmed interstellar object we had ever detected. Scientists were already preparing a global campaign to study it with every telescope we had. Little did they know that 3I/Atlas would be studying us right back. As Comet 3I/Atlas drew closer to our sun, its behavior became increasingly bizarre, adding new layers to the growing mystery. Comets typically follow predictable paths, their orbits governed by the simple, elegant laws of gravity. They brighten as they approach the sun, as its heat vaporizes their ices, creating a brilliant tail. But 3I/Atlas was different. It didn't just brighten, it pulsed. Its brightness would fluctuate dramatically over short periods, flaring up with intense energy before dimming again. These pulses were not random. They were perfectly synchronized with the strange radio signal it was broadcasting. It was as if the comet was powering its transmission by deliberately shedding parts of itself. This erratic behavior sent theorists scrambling for explanations. One leading theory was that the comet wasn't a natural object at all, but a disguised probe. An alien artifact, perhaps millions of years old, designed to look like a comet to travel undetected through the cosmos. This Bracewell probe concept suggested it was an autonomous messenger, programmed to activate upon entering a planetary system with signs of life, like ours. The flaring could be a result of its internal power source coming online, venting excess energy and material as it prepared to deliver its primary message. Another strange observation was the comet's trajectory. While it was broadly following a hyperbolic path, typical for an interstellar visitor, there were tiny, almost imperceptible deviations. It seemed to be making minor course corrections, nudging itself onto a slightly different path than gravity alone would dictate. The comet wasn't just passing by, it was making an appointment. The approach of 3I/Atlas became the single greatest obsession in human history. Every single space-based telescope, every single ground-based telescope was pointed at it. International rivalries were set aside. NASA, ESA, Roscosmos pooled their resources, creating a continuous 24/7 monitoring network. This was humanity's first contact not with a living alien but with its technology, its echo. The scientific community worked with a unity never seen before. Data flowed freely across borders through secured networks. Cryptographers, astrophysicists, linguists worked around the clock to decipher the signal and understand the comet's bizarre physics. The pressure was immense as the whole world was counting on them for answers. Public reaction was a whirlwind of fascination, fear, and unbridled speculation. The comet, now bright enough to be seen with the naked eye as a strange, pulsing star in the night sky, was a constant reminder of the visitor in our midst. Doomsday cults emerged, proclaiming the comet was a harbinger of the apocalypse. Others saw it as a divine messenger, a sign of a new age of enlightenment. The internet buzzed with countless theories ranging from the plausible to the utterly fantastic. Was it an invitation to join a galactic federation? A warning about a coming danger? Or was it something far more sinister, a cosmic Trojan horse? Governments around the world were forced to react. They urged calm while secretly preparing for any eventuality. What if the comet was hostile? What if its final message was a burst of energy or a biological agent? Contingency plans were drawn up in classified meetings plans that ranged from attempting to communicate with the object to, in the most extreme scenarios, attempting to destroy it. The debate was fierce. To attack it might be to destroy the most important artifact in human history. To do nothing might be to leave ourselves vulnerable. It was a dilemma with no easy answer, a choice that rested on understanding the true nature of our visitor. Amidst the chaos, the scientific effort made a breakthrough. A team of quantum computing experts and signal analysts using a global network of processors finally cracked the outer layer of the signal's code. It wasn't a language of words but of fundamental mathematics and physics. The signal was a countdown. The day of closest approach arrived. The world held its collective breath. Comet 3 I/Atlas was a spectacular sight in the sky, its pulsing light visible even in major cities. Then, exactly as predicted, the countdown signal stopped. For a terrifying moment, there was only silence. The comet seemed to hang in the sky, inert, and then it began. A single massive burst of data erupted from the comet, directed in a tight beam at our planet. It wasn't a radio wave this time. It was a complex, modulated neutrino stream, a method of communication so advanced we could barely detect it, let alone invent it. It was a broadcast designed to pass through planets and stars without distortion. This final transmission was not a greeting or a conversation, it was a data dump. A colossal archive of information flooded our neutrino receivers. Ice Cube Lab at the South Pole, Super Cameo Candy in Japan. The sheer volume was staggering, trillions of terabytes in minutes. As the transmission ended, the comet convulsed violently. Massive internal detonations tore it apart from the inside. Its mission was complete. The probe, disguised as a comet, had delivered its package. Then, as programmed, it self-destructed, leaving a cloud of dust and ice. The impact on humanity was immediate and profound. We had received a message, a library from an unknown, ancient, likely extinct civilization. The probe hadn't come to talk, it had come to deliver a warning. Initial analysis was shocking. A detailed record of another solar system, its vibrant biosphere, the rise of an intelligent species. We saw their art, their science, their history. We saw cities of unimaginable beauty, technology that seemed like magic. We were witnessing their life story, a species that reached for the stars. But the archive was not a celebration, it was a tragedy. The data showed their dawning realization that their star was unstable. They discovered it was on path to a catastrophic supernova far sooner than predicted. The final sections were a desperate record of their attempts to survive. They built probes like 3 I/Atlas, launching them in every direction into the interstellar void, not messengers of greeting, messages in a bottle, carrying one final desperate warning: do not trust your stars. The data from 3 I/Atlas was more than just a history lesson, it was a ghost story written on a galactic scale. The civilization we came to know as the Sentinels had made a fatal error. They assumed their sun was stable, and built their entire world on that belief. Their science was advanced, but they missed the subtle signs. Almost invisible fluctuations in their star's output that pointed to deep instability. By the time they understood the danger, it was too late to evacuate. They were trapped. Their star was a ticking time bomb. The warning for Earth was terrifyingly specific. The archive contained incredibly detailed astronomical models. Their star, many different types of stars, our own sun. The Sentinels had become the galaxy's experts on stellar evolution and collapse. Their message was clear: young civilizations are often blind to subtle stellar threats. Natural stellar cycles, flare activities, coronal mass ejections. They told us to look closer at our sun. Using the Sentinels' models, our scientists reanalyzed the sun. The results were chilling. Our star is healthy and stable for billions of years, but the data let us predict flares and CMEs with unprecedented precision. We discovered a long-term solar cycle due to peak in the next few centuries. The peak could collapse global power grids, destroy every satellite in orbit, and bathe the surface in life-altering radiation. The Sentinels' warning gave us a crucial head start. The archive became a blueprint for survival. It contained warnings and research on shielding technology, energy grid, hardening long-term data preservation. They gave us their knowledge so we might succeed. Humanity was galvanized into action. The Solaria Shield project was initiated. Its goal: upgrade planetary infrastructure and build resilience for the coming solar maximum. The message from 3I/Atlas wasn't just a warning, it was a gift, a roadmap to securing our future. The legacy of Comet 3I/Atlas is the dawn of a new era for humanity. We are no longer alone in the universe, but the confirmation came in the most somber way imaginable. We learned of our first interstellar neighbors through their obituary. This knowledge has fundamentally changed our perspective on our place in the cosmos. We are a young species living on a fragile world orbiting a star whose moods we are only now beginning to truly understand. The Sentinel's sacrifice taught us that the universe is not necessarily hostile, but it is indifferent. Survival is not guaranteed. It must be earned through vigilance, foresight, unity. The global cooperation required to build the Solaria Shield has transformed our world. We continue our watch of the skies, not just for threats, other whispers from the void, other messages in a bottle from the silent, starry sea.